They said the goal of life was to be comfortable. Work the least, rest the most, have everything at the touch of a button. A soft bed, easy food, endless distraction. They disguised a prison as paradise. They sold the promise of peace, but delivered the slow death of will. While you sink into comfort, your ambitions quietly die, suffocated by instant rewards designed only to keep you quiet, docile, weak. The trap was perfect because it didn't look like one. Who would question the feeling of immediate pleasure? But behind the stimuli lies the collapse of discipline, of courage, of focus. The most connected generation is also the most lost, not by accident. Everything around you was designed to distract you from the necessary pain of growth. How do you fight if you were taught that any discomfort is a mistake? How do you resist if everything was made so you'd never need to stand up? While you binge watch the series, the machine profits from your passivity. While you postpone discomfort, others gain strength in silence. History is clear. The great ones were never born from comfort. They were born from renunciation. They weren't heroes because they had everything, but because they faced the void and came back transformed. What they did was simple. They said no to what everyone else said yes to. They rejected ease. They chose discomfort. Now, only one question remains. Will you keep numbing yourself, or will you wake up? Will you keep accepting what weakens you, or will you finally rebel against what keeps you small? The revolution that changes everything starts where most people quit, in the pain you avoid. Embrace it. There is no freedom in comfort, but there is power in discomfort. And no one can sell you that, because no one profits from your liberation. You used to think prison was a place with bars, a closed, cold space controlled by armed men. But the new prison is warm, comfortable, and full of distractions. No one forces you to stay in it. You enter by your own choice. It was sold as freedom, but it charges a silent price, the surrender of your inner strength. Today, the cell looks like a couch, a social media feed, a habit that soothes you while real life slips by before your eyes. The problem is, this prison doesn't suffocate you all at once. It intoxicates you slowly. It offers crumbs of pleasure in exchange for your soul. Easy pleasure becomes an addiction. It conditions you, weakens your ability to resist. And the most dangerous part, it makes you believe it's normal, that it's okay to postpone, avoid, numb yourself. You convince yourself there's no need to change because the world around you seems to have accepted the same sentence. It's a collective prison, and that's why no one screams for help. While you dive into endless entertainment, shortcuts, and artificial comforts, your mind falls asleep. Ambition turns into anxiety. Willpower becomes apathy, and you don't even notice how much you're being shaped. Because there are no visible chains, only instant rewards every time you choose what's easy over what's necessary. Everything was designed so you'd never have to fight, because a man who doesn't fight is easy to control. But what happens when you realize you're imprisoned, that you're not truly free even with everything at your fingertips? That's when the seed of rebellion begins to grow, because somewhere inside you, something is still alive, something that hasn't been fully tamed, and it's that fragment, that silent rage, that suffocated intuition that can set you free. But first you'll have to face what the entire world runs from, the brutal truth behind easy pleasure. Will you keep going? You're not distracted by accident, you're distracted by design. Every seemingly harmless stimulus, the notification, the short video, the cheap sugar rush, the easy click, is part of a well-oiled machine with one purpose: to keep you away from yourself. This machine was built with surgical precision to numb your mind and feed your dependence. And the more you consume, the less you think, the less you feel, the less you act. They discovered something powerful. No one needs to be forced into obedience. Just offer enough pleasure, and they'll forget they're imprisoned. Dopamine became currency. Your focus, your attention, your energy, all hijacked by algorithms that know your weaknesses better than you do. What you believe is freedom of choice is just refined conditioning. The illusion that you're in control is part of the trap. Little by little, you stop seeking. You stop questioning. You stop fighting. Because this machine doesn't just intoxicate the body, it numbs the soul. And the cruelest part is that it doesn't destroy you with violence, but with comfort. Not with pain, but with repetitive pleasure. This is how strong men are destroyed today. Not with chains, but with distractions. And when you finally wake up, you realize you no longer know who you are, or why you're here. But there is one thing the machine can't erase: the silent pain of knowing you're not living the life you were meant to. That restless feeling that survives, even buried beneath layers of stimulation, is the spark of awareness. And it burns even when you try to ignore it. Because deep down, something in you still refuses to accept this weak, domesticated version of yourself. The machine may be powerful, but it's not invincible. The choice is still yours. They weren't superhuman. They weren't born ready, nor were they chosen by the gods. The great men of the past, warriors, philosophers, leaders, didn't have the resources you have today. They had no manuals, no online mentors, no button to pause the world. But they had something many have lost: the courage to face discomfort, the strength that is born from pain, and the honor of suffering for something greater than themselves. Alexander, still young, crossed blood-soaked deserts driven by conquest. Buddha left his palace and dove into misery to understand human suffering. Nietzsche stared into his own madness to decipher the mind and challenge God. None of them ran from chaos. They walked through it. They didn't seek comfort. They sought purpose. Meanwhile, the modern man runs from hunger with delivery, from loneliness with stories, from pain with synthetic dopamine. Today, the hero has become a spectator, the warrior, a consumer. The sword has been traded for a remote control. You think we've evolved, but the truth is we've regressed. We've gotten faster but shallower, more informed but less conscious, and this silent exchange is costing us dearly. It's not just about habits, it's about identity. Who are you when no one is watching? And what would make you worthy of being remembered? This is where rebellion begins, not against the world, but against this domesticated version of yourself. Because if the great ones were forged in fire, you can't expect to be shaped in the lukewarm ice of comfort. Either you awaken now or you die slowly, watching the stories of other men while forgetting your own. And the truth is harsh. No one is coming to save you. Your only chance at redemption lies in the choice you avoid every day, to rise and fight for yourself. There's a cost to everything, but the price of comfort rarely comes with a tag. It arrives quietly, disguised as routine, and settles in like a painless disease, until it's too late. With every easy pleasure you accept, something far more valuable slips through your fingers. Your discipline weakens, your courage withers, your presence fades. You're still alive, but not awake, in motion, but without direction. A man who survives but doesn't truly live. The problem is that this loss doesn't scream, it whispers. And those whispers are easy to ignore. It's the emptiness after a binge of videos, the apathy that follows pleasure, the regret that arrives too late when you realize the days have passed and you've remained the same. It's the time you'll never get back, the ideas you never had, the battles you didn't fight, the love you never lived, and crueler still, the man you could have become, but didn't. Meanwhile, life goes on. Others grow through the pain you avoided. They evolve in the silence you filled with noise. They build in the time you sold for crumbs of pleasure. The world won't pause for your hesitation. It will move right over you, and you'll only realize it when you're too old to try. Again, be just lucid enough to understand everything you let slip away because you were afraid to be uncomfortable. But there is a way out, and it's not in easy answers or shortcuts. It's in what you've been avoiding most, discomfort. Because that's where clarity lives, where strength is born, where rebirth begins. You can still reclaim lost time, still silence the noise, kill the addictions, and rebuild yourself from scratch. But you must accept the price of freedom, and it's not cheap. It's steep, it's sweaty, it's lonely, but it's the only one worth paying. The comfort zone seems harmless, a place where nothing challenges you, nothing is demanded of you, where everything feels stable, under control. But what few realize is that it's not neutral, it's alive. And like everything alive, it either grows or shrinks. Every day you remain in it, it becomes smaller, tighter, more suffocating. What once felt like a refuge gradually becomes a cage. And when you try to leave, you no longer have the strength. This poison works slowly. First it kills your ambition, then it destroys your discipline, and finally it erases your identity. You begin to accept less from yourself. You start trading your values for crumbs of comfort. You begin saying it's fine when deep down you know it's not. And the longer you stay inside, the harder it becomes to remember who you were before you went silent. The comfort zone doesn't protect, it rots. That's why so many people seem alive, but feel empty. They've moved so much within their small world that they've confused repetition with safety. But the brutal truth is this: there is no safety without growth. The comfort zone doesn't stop you from falling, it only stops you from flying. And a man who stops growing stops living. Stagnation isn't a pause, it's a slow death. You feel it, even if you can't name it. A constant discomfort. An inner voice whispering, "This isn't all there is," because it isn't. And the more you ignore that a voice, the more the zone shrinks. Until one day there's no room left to breathe. That's why leaving it isn't an option, it's a necessity. And the longer you delay, the higher the cost. It's time to tear down the invisible walls and remember what it means to be free. Your weakness is a product, and one of the most profitable. Every click on a meaningless video, every impulsive food order, every endless scroll through your feed, all of it was meticulously designed to keep you numb. These aren't isolated flaws of modern society. This is a machine, precise, silent, and insatiable. An industry built to exploit your distraction, your exhaustion, your need to escape. The weaker you are, the more valuable you become to it. They don't want you to think. Thinkers don't consume on autopilot. They don't want you to question. Questioners don't follow trends. The awakened man is a threat. He needs less, buys less, gets addicted less. But the fragile man is perfect, always chasing instant pleasure, offering no resistance, consuming whatever he's told. That's why they created an ecosystem of artificial comfort, where everything is designed to keep you feeling fine, as long as you never wake up. Social media feeds your comparison. Pornography weakens your vital energy. Fast food poisons your body. Series keep you entertained but soulless. Easy dopamine has become an invisible leash, and you thank them for every dose, because they taught you to see this as freedom, when in truth, it's disguised servitude. No one physically chains you, you chain yourself emotionally, and call it a lifestyle. But now you know, and there's no turning back. Once you see the system, you can't pretend it's normal anymore. You begin to feel disgusted by what you once called comfort, and anger at everything you accepted as life. Because it's not life, it's domesticated survival. Only one real choice remains. Either you keep being a cog in the machine, or you start building something it can't control. And that requires rupture. In the midst of the noise, there is a silence that few can hear, the silence of the strong. They don't need to shout to be heard. Their actions speak for them. They are the ones who choose the lonely battle over the comfort of the crowd. While many panic, complain, and search for someone to blame, the strong move forward, building within themselves what the world tries to destroy. They know the real battle happens inside, and that victory is silent. On the other side, the cry of the conformed echoes loudly yet hollow. These are voices trying to fill their emptiness with complaints, excuses, and justifications. They seek approval, victimhood, and distraction to avoid responsibility. Their noise is the smoke that hides the fire of change, and meanwhile they remain trapped, consumed by the fear of facing their own reflection. They'd rather blame the system, the past, even their neighbor, anything but look in the mirror. This division isn't just external, and it's internal too. Each person carries within the conflict between silence and noise, between comfort and pain. The daily choice is this: do you act or do you surrender? Do you listen to the voice of the warrior that demands discipline and courage, or do you give in to the voice of the coward that begs for peace and excuses? The answer determines not only your future, but the quality of your soul. But the silence of the strong is not isolation, it's power. It's the calm before the storm that will change everything. Because in the end, only those who stay quiet and act can tear down the walls that comfort has built. And while the cry of the conformed echoes across social media, the strong are building what the world truly needs: free, honest, and untamed men. The only question that remains is simple: will you join those who act or those who only complain? The true revolution isn't made with shouts or protests in the streets. It begins silently, inside you, in the pain you keep trying to avoid, in what most people run from: discomfort, sacrifice, the internal struggle against what holds you back. It is there, in that confrontation with your own weakness, that you find the key to freedom. Because no man has changed the world without first changing himself, facing what no one else dared to face. If you want to be more than a spectator of your own life, you need to understand that comfort is the enemy of progress. Avoiding suffering is accepting mediocrity. Growth demands breaking free from what keeps you small. This transformation isn't for everyone. It's for those willing to pay the real price of freedom, the pain of awakening, the discipline of renunciation, the courage to be different. And even if it seems lonely, you will never be truly alone. Thousands have already chosen this silent path and discovered something extraordinary: a mental clarity that cuts through the fog of doubt, an inner strength that defies any storm, a self-control that few possess. They live with purpose, action, and authenticity, not because they're lucky, but because they decided to stop running away. And you, will you keep postponing this choice? Will you keep feeding the machine that profits from your weakness? The moment is now. The comfort that sold you weakness is falling apart before your eyes. You can continue as before, or you can rise, embrace the pain that scares you, and start your personal revolution. Don't wait for someone else to do it for you. Freedom isn't given, it's earned. And it's up to you to decide who you want to be: the prisoner of comfort or the warrior who breaks the chains. What will your choice be? Thank you for watching this far and diving into this deep reflection on what it truly means to be strong. If this video sparked something in you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more content that challenges the ordinary and helps you truly evolve. Join this journey of transformation. Your personal revolution starts now.